G'day, Ben from Melbourne here, and now we're going to tackle part 2 of my King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard collection. Let's get right into it. The year is 2017, and this was the year that they proposed that they were going to release 5 records in 1 year. So they started the year off with a bang with Flying Microtonal Banana. So this was like an experiment in microtonality, as they said. They used custom built guitars, which were in 24-tet tuning. I don't know what that means either. But they used these modified instruments to achieve kind of like a influence from Middle Eastern and Turkish music. Really interesting sound. And the guitars were sort of modeled off the I think you pronounce it baglama, which is a instrument that looks like a long net lute, but they use lute sounding and looking instruments in the good way, not the evil sting way. Still though, rocks this record. You've got songs like Rattlesnake, which is just starts off with a bang. I think I already said starts off a bang with this album at the start of the year, but that's okay. I'm not a professional, as you can probably tell. And what else we got on here? Billabong Valley's fantastic, and Open Water. Really strong album. Now, what would you do for your second album when you're going to release 5 in 1 year? Of course, you'd release Murder of the Universe, which is a 3-chapter sci-fi heavy metal epic. This, I think, works in places. There's this computerized voice narration in some parts, which can get a bit grating, especially the side when he's talking non-stop about Chunda, so I wouldn't recommend you eating while you're listening to that, because it might put you off your food. Cool booklet in there with the lyrics that I'm showing really badly. And of course, with the Giz, you always get great coloured vinyl. Check that out. So, by this stage, most of their records, when they come out, there were like several variations of coloured vinyl. I have a few of each, but I'm not going to go into that here, because we'll be here for the rest of mine and your lives, and nobody wants that because we've got shit to do. Alright, third album for the year was a collaboration with the sort of jazzy pop band Mild High Club. This one's called Sketches of Brunswick East. Of course, a play on the Miles Davis album Sketches of Spain. This works really good. The Mild High Club sort of reins in the weirdness of the Giz, and the Giz bring a bit of strangeness to the more slick pop sounds. It's a really good record. A lot of these songs they still play live. Sketches of Brunswick East, the songs part 1 and 2 are fantastic. And what's the other one? Rolling Stones, another really good one too, which they released as a 7-inch. I think I showed both sides already. Let's get the vinyl out. Cool inner. God, I'm only up to the 3rd record and I'm taking forever. So, sorry about that. Let's move things along. After this, they did something which I can't think of another band doing this before. The album Polygondwanaland was released to the public domain. Into the public domain. So what they did is they put the files of their record, high-res files, up online for both the music and the artwork. So either as a fan, you could just like download it as is with MP3 files, or it had the high-res files. So, and they encourage people to release it and sell it. And there were like 1 million different labels and bootlegs out there, which was really cool, really original. They gave it away for free. This one I got was released by Strange World Records, which is a great local record store in Melbourne. Also, the owner, Richie, runs Homeless Records, which does a lot of great hardcore and noise and punk stuff. But he decided to put this under the Strange World name, which was the name of the store. So I do have, which they released a little bit later on, the this is the one they released on Flightless a few years later, and it actually says Polygondwanaland was released for free in 2017. Free to download, free to make copies, free to sell. Free! At the time of writing, it has been released by 88 different labels. Sorry, this is really hard to read on this silver stuff, so I'm going to give up there. That gives you an idea. It was like everyone really ran with the idea, and so that's, maybe if I do it close up for a second, you'll be able to read that better than me, but it's very reflective. There you go, pause it, go for it. And what's cool, the artwork on the front's the same, but they actually, you could see there, a bit of creative license with the Strange World one compared to this one. And the inside's different as well. And the stuff that just fell out was, a little flyer for Flightless Records, and the sticker, "I survived the great flightless crash." When I think that was when they reissued the first 5 albums and their site went down and they had to call off the sale until the following day once they fixed all of the glitches in the system. I don't think I've shown you the vinyl of this one, so just a plain inner there with a bit of info. It's really nice green blue colour. Stick that back in there. And so that was album 4 for the year, and that was in November, so the clock was ticking. And then when everyone thought they're not going to be able to do it, December 31 they released Gumboot Soup. Bit of a cheat if you're a fan of vinyl, because it was actually available only online, and the physical record itself I only had in my hands maybe 2 months later into the following year. But technically it was all recorded and released in the 1 year, so they got their 5 in by technicality, I suppose. This is a really good record as well. It's kind of like a distillation of everything that they'd done previously in that year. It might be, but I'm not 100% sure, made up of tracks which were left over from each of the other albums they released that year. But if that's the case, it holds together really well. It's got some killer songs. The first track, Beginner's Luck, Greenhouse, Heat Death, just a good combination there, real psychedelic, almost flaming lips in places there. And then I love Muddy Water, which has kind of got a indie bluesy kind of psych feel to it, where Ambrose takes the vocals and just smashes it out of the park. Really cool vinyl. Righto. So that was 2017, and as you can imagine, they didn't release anything the following year. So they thought they'd take a rest by playing, about 120 shows worldwide. Yeah, they're just relentless with everything that they do. It seems to be it's all or nothing. Just a couple of things which came out the following year in 2018 was just this 7-inch with Mild High Club, which has the song Rolling Stoned. And I think this is just a black vinyl there. So I don't know, was this released on Flightless? I'm not sure. No, it's whatever that says in the corner, very, very small. This is, I know I say this pretty much every time I do a video, but I'm going to be wearing glasses soon, I reckon. Because I just can't read that small stuff anymore. Anyway, let's come to 2019, and early on in the year we got a taster of what was to come with the 7-inch Psy Boogie. Catchy as hell, good fun, very silly film clip, but enjoyable all the same. There we go, just black with a cool little label. And then the album, Fishing for Fishies. Great record. This, incorporating like environmentally themed lyrics on this one. All to the soundtrack of like an electro boogie rock kind of thing going on. Really, really fun stuff. I quite like this record. I'm not sure how much it's loved out there, but it's just a good, fun record after all of the sort of intensity of all of the other concepts and prog and, mental sci-fi aliens and cyborgs and stuff. So there's the poster. Whoa, look at that. Got it in one go. That never happens. Lyrics there. Great photos. And cool looking vinyl as well. Righto. So you would think that they might have thought, we'll just release one this year after a year of 120 shows, and the previous year we released 5 records, but nah. Let's release another record. And this is the start where they started using this environmentally friendly packaging, which I still cover in plastic because I don't want to damage it because I'm a record collecting maniac. But that's a whole other issue and a whole other show. And of course, the inside was pretty rocking. So Infest the Rat's Nest is probably the first time they really sounded like it was a bit of a genre exercise to me instead of it just naturally incorporated into their sound. So this was like their thrash metal record, I suppose. I don't know how you feel about that, but the good songs are really good. The rest is kind of forgettable, sorry to say. But again, when they played this stuff live, it really went nuts and was quite effective. So I don't know if maybe by this point they were thinking of the stage because they were playing so much when they'd be writing songs. But by no means is a lesser Giz record a terrible record. They're all good. It's just that up until this point, the standard had been so incredibly high. Now, I think this is going to be a huge, massive poster of just the cover. Oh my god. Why do I do this to myself? Whoa, 2 for 2. Look at that. Got it perfectly without tearing it. Okay. Now, what happened next? In 2020, they released several live albums, a concert film, a double compilation of demos, which was titled Teenage Gizzard, and that had not only demos and early singles. I think the demos one, was separate, and then there was the Teenage Giz, which had the Anglesey EP and early singles on it. Yeah, that's right, because the double demos is literally called demos. And as well as that, they released their 16th studio album, KG, Volume 2. So, in the small print, it says Explorations into Microtonal Tuning, Volume 2. So, you can imagine what is going on here. So, this follows the flying microtonal banana, going further down that road with the microtonal custom-made guitars, and they're really hitting it on this one. They really know what they're doing with those sounds. This is, by the way, really great cover too, isn't it? And now this was also marked. Things were in 2020 in August. Was when Eric Moore, the second drummer, manager of the band, and also the guy who ran the Flightless record label, decided to leave the band and concentrate solely on the label, which was a bit sad, because it was fantastic to see a band with two drummers who were both brilliant, and such a great, phenomenal live show they put on, and they both played off each other so brilliantly. In various different situations, seen them set up either facing each other, side by side, back to back, you name it. A great show I saw around the the Flying Microtonal Banana album. They played in a small venue and kept selling shows until one of them didn't sell out, and I think it ended up being like just over 2 weeks worth of shows. They played every single night, and they were fantastic. And the other thing is they played in the round, so the audience was all around them. Great show, and played 2 sets. Get your money's worth with the Giz. Okay, and now for one of those live albums. This one too released on Flightless, come out in 2020, but this is from a 2016 show in San Francisco. Of course, this was not long after Nonagon Infinity came out, so as you can imagine, the performance on this is just blistering. Whoa. Hopefully that's all good. Cool pictures on the end of there. Lovely vinyl. We're about to find out how that pulled up. Alright, no dents. Joey going for it there. There we are. And again, groovy coloured vinyl. Righto. So then this one came out, and this, even though this is live, I see this is more of a soundtrack to their film Chunky Shrapnel. This is really good, but it only really suffers slightly because of how amazing this previous one's, the San Francisco live album from 2016 is. And this is taken from shows all over the place. Luxembourg, Madrid, Manchester, London, Brussels, Milan, none in Australia. Oh, interesting. Anyway, got this cool Obi thing. Great artwork. Surprise, surprise. And these are really cool too. On the inside, Went and saw the film at the cinema. Yeah, it was pretty cool. For some reason, it reminded me of a Grateful Dead performance, even though the music's nothing like it, but it just had this meandering quality about it that I remember of when I saw the Grateful Dead movie. I can't quite put my finger on it, but that's the first thing I thought of when I saw it. And if you want to see Stu Mackenzie end up in his jocks, I highly recommend it. He's a mere slip of a man, though. I don't know how he holds his guitar up. All right. So if you release a record called KG, you've got to release one called LW, just in case your fans aren't sure what you're called. I really think they should have released 3 of these, and one called KG and the middle one called Anva, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, my wife didn't think that was very funny when I said it either. So, volume 3 in the microtonal stylings and tunings. Another strong record. I think that these must have been recorded around the same time. Really good. I thought a good return to form after a slightly disappointing Infest the Rat's Nest. This is the kind of experiment that I think really, and genre exerciser really works for them, because it just meshes with their sound perfectly. And then one of the many left turns, Butterfly 3000, which turned out to be a synth-based dream pop kind of album with an amazingly beautiful cover. And I got really freaked out and stressed when this became available online, because of it had about 10 different versions and they were all different languages, and I was like, what does this mean? But all it meant in the end was it was just like printed in English, and I got another one which is printed with Japanese characters, and the music was all the same. The lyrics were just in different languages as well. But that was it. But I bought both because that's what record collecting dickheads do. Lovely yellow vinyl. Yeah, this is just a nice, dreamy, laid-back record. They're getting into the synthesizers a bit by this point. Really cool. And next up, we've got their entry into the Live at Levitations, which this isn't on Flightless. I think I forgot to say that, was it Butterfly 300s? I think the first one that was released on their from their Gizverse website, I think. I'm just trying to find the information, but of course I can't. So I don't know what's happening, because since that point they haven't released anything through Flightless. Just reminded me when I saw the Levitations session, because this is not on Flightless. Obviously it's through the Reverberation Society, who've done a lot of these live performances with all different bands. All of the Psych ones I've heard are really good. I like the Fuzz ones, great. The Acid Mother's Temple's really cool. And this, as you can imagine, because it's from my favourite era, 2016, is also completely kick-ass. And also cool coloured vinyl. I don't know, the VC seems divided about coloured and plain old black vinyl, but I think it's nice as far as packaging goes, and I found the hit and miss rate with the quality with new pressings is roughly the same. I've probably got just as many great sounding coloured ones as I got bad sounding black coloured ones, and vice versa. So I don't know, I guess you could call that sitting on the fence. All right, now 2022, believe it or not, and Made in Timeland, which this you could call really half-assed, or you could call a really interesting project, because this album began production as the intermission music for King Gizzard's 3-hour marathon live shows. It's basically two 15-minute songs on each side. Yeah, it's made up of lots of bits and pieces, and this is the bit which you'll either love or hate. It's got a consistent clicking sound, which at the tempo of 60 BPMs, which is apparently about the pace of a clock ticking, therefore Made in Thailand, the name of the album. And that carries throughout the album. Yeah, not my first go-to album of theirs, but I kind of find it interesting. It's got a bit of everything in there. Mainly electronic, but every now and then the guitars and drums kick in as well. And now, lastly, their most recent album, Omnium Gatherum. They were just making up shit by this point. I'm sure those aren't words. Anyway, this was their first studio double album. Yeah, this is basically like a distillation of everything they've done before, and throw in a couple of songs where there's some rapping and hip-hop style. Which, yes, like you, I thought when I heard that, I'm instantly going to hate it. But when I played the record, it actually worked. It was good. And it wasn't all throughout. It was just a small bit on 2 tracks, and it worked quite well. Worked a hell of a lot better than KRS-One rapping on REM songs in the 90s when they were trying to still sound contemporary. Yeah, it's just the sound of them, I think, just doing a bit of everything that they do and not feeling constricted by, their usual self-imposed limitations, which is good. Cool coloured vinyl, as you can imagine. Again, another not flightless release. It's called Lucky Rainbow Wax. I'm only saying that because I was desperately searching for what the name of their label is. I just think it's just, called Gizzard or KGLW, which is what they're called. I don't know. Maybe you should find this shit out before you do a 27-minute bloody video. So let's wrap this shit up. And a nice purple one on the second disc. Alright, thanks for watching that incredibly long second video. I'm sure you've either fast forwarded or fell asleep ages ago or found something better to do. But if you lasted the distance, cheers, and we'll see you soon on the next one. Take care.